Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT. Hold on, let me see something. It's your boy BT, and we are live here on YouTube. And we're on screen orientate, freaking screen lock, whatever it is BS. But it's your boy BT. We are live here on YouTube. Hold on. Hold on a second. Whatever. We're gonna stream like this. F it. We're gonna stream this way for now. But Alright. It's your boy BT, and we are live here on YouTube, True School Sports. It is officially 11 a.m. here in South Florida. Hope you're having a great day today as you're tuning in. Make sure you do yourself a damn favor and hit that subscribe button. Surely you will not be disappointed. Now, I'm going to get set up because we have a lot to talk about, but let me get set up here because let me make sure that my stuff is here in order because, you know, sometimes with these damn streams, things can in fact get out of order really quickly. But I want you guys to do me a favor while I'm getting set up. I want you guys in the comment section to let me know what city, what state, what continent, where you're watching the stream from right now. You know, just do all that good stuff for me while I'm getting set up here. Leave a comment down below. As always, you know where I'm reporting live and direct from. I'm reporting to you guys live and direct from the greatest city in the world, Dania Beach, Florida, as you already know. But we're gonna run through a lot of things today because it's a very busy day in the boxing world. We have many things that have happened. Most notably, you know, one thing that's pretty crazy that happened was Alexander Usyk got his heavyweight opponent sorted out. And it was reported this morning that May the 18th, Alexander Usyk will in fact be fighting Carlos Takam for his heavyweight debut in Chicago. So big stuff for Alexander Usyk in his career. Jasper Ram, what's up, champ? How you doing? What's up, champ? How you doing, Jasper? Good to see you again. Once again. My dad is in the building. Big shout out to my pops. But yeah. Y'all that you're streaming from, as always, we know the UK is in the house. But yeah. I'm going to get into the news because there is quite a lot to talk about. So we'll start off with what this stream is titled, because this stream, the bulk of today's stream, today's live boxing talk will be about what Bob Arum had to say about the recent situation in regards to Deontay Wilder turning down the fight, the mega deal with DAZN, the $100 million deal with DAZN to fight Anthony Joshua, which would have included the Dominic Brazil mandatory defense. So we're going to get into that. Here it is, BoxingScene.com. Bob Arum says that Al Haymon and Deontay Wilder were wise to walk away from the DAZN deal. So I'm going to read you guys the quotes and we will dissect from there. Here's what Bob Arum had to say in regards to Deontay Wilder turning down that DAZN deal. He said the following, and I quote, "I think Al Haymon, and rightly so, demonstrated to Wilder that he'll end up making more money doing it the traditional way being pay-per-view, the traditional way, than making a deal with DAZN, where he's limited. I think I would have done the same thing. We were hoping that he would do that. We knew that Shelly knows how to count money, and we thought that they would see that while it looked like a tremendous amount of money. In all reality, if everything broke the right way, it would actually be shortchanging Deontay Wilder." Bob Arum then went on. He continued by saying the following. He does have reasoning for that decision. For example, Wilder's going to get a fairly decent money to fight this fight with Dominic Brazil, and then probably decent money to do another fight, and then Joshua and Fury would have a second fight separately. Then next year, when Fury and Wilder fight, the amounts that were offered are minuscule compared to the kind of revenues that will come from a Wilder-Fury fight. That's the theory. With Fury being built up on ESPN and Wilder hopefully being built up by PBC, but particularly Fury being built up with the American audience, don't know what a character Fury is and so forth. We will look to do that at least 2 million homes when they fought each other. He keeps on going by saying, that is impossible to do under the present system with Joshua fighting not on pay-per-view. In other words, the model for Wilder Fury is pay-per-view. And if you do 2 million homes when they fight, you have a chance to do close to 2 million homes in the next fight, the third bout. In other words, they would fight twice more. So there you have it. He actually then went on by comparing this to Mayweather Pacquiao. He said, when there's huge money to be made in this way, even Al Haymon will come together to do it. The best example I can give you is Pacquiao versus Mayweather. But knowing Haymon, he'll only do it if there's a pot of gold there. And my belief is, and I think my belief is, there will be a pot of gold there. If it rolls out the ways I think it'll roll out. Wilder will make a lot more than 100 million or 120 million that Eddie Hearn was talking about. There you have it. So in an interesting plot twist, in an interesting series of events, you have the likes of Bob Arum, the Bob Father himself, backing Al Haymon's decision-making, backing Al Haymon, you know, steering Deontay Wilder clear of Anthony Joshua. Honestly, like, to be honest with you guys, like, I think it's an interesting one because you never hear, and I mean, and anybody who's here, for the 9 of you that you can feel free to correct me in the comments, because I know I'm not always right when it comes to boxing. Nobody ever is. But has Bob Arum anything Al Haymon has done in his boxing career? No. So I find extremely odd and extremely, he's always called, he literally called, not too long ago, probably within the last 6 months, he called Al Haymon a cancer to boxing, and now he's saying Al Haymon is wise. Now, why you got to ask yourself the question, why would Bob Arum, why would the Bob Father himself sit here and co-sign Al Haymon blocking the biggest fight in all of world boxing, the undisputed heavyweight championship? You got to ask yourself that question. And if you ask yourself that question, it's easy. It's really easy. You got to understand that Bob Arum, in this article, with his statements, is speaking from a place of self-interest. He's speaking from blatant self-interest because he just got into the heavyweight business now with Tyson Fury. So he's in the Tyson Fury business. He wants to do what's best for Tyson Fury because ultimately what's best for Tyson Fury is what's going to be what's best for Bob Arum. You see what I'm saying? And that's just that is what it is, man. Like if Fury if Fury fights Wilder, that's his pathway to becoming a bigger star here in America. Now obviously Top Rank is going to take their time with Fury. They're going to put him in there. They're going to put him in there with safe opponents that he can beat, look good against. They're going to market him. I'm sure they're gonna push him really hard, but you just gotta look at it like that, man. Like Bob Arum in this particular article is speaking from a place of self, and it's not unexpected because that's what a promoter does. Okay, promoters are in the business of doing what's best for not just their fighters, but them. And what's best for Arum in this case, it's one of those rare scenarios for Arum where what's best for Arum is also what's best for Al Haymon. You know, that seldomly ever happens because, you know, like for example, to take the welterweight division, right? There is no like Eddie Hearn is not really. I mean, he has Josh Kelly, who's a prospect on the rise, but as far as that top level of welterweights right now, there you go. As far as that top level of welterweights right now, it wasn't in the welterweight business like that. So right now, as far as from the promotional standpoint, the welterweight division is just Top Rank and PBC. So there is no middleman. So Al Haymon and Bob Arum are just at odds all the time in the welterweight division, being with DAZN. And you know, to kind of paint a broader picture of all this, okay, this is bigger than just or Wilder versus Fury. No, it's bigger than that. Okay, DAZN has come in boxing. John Skipper, DAZN, they've come into boxing in places over there with their OTT technology and all that stuff they got, the streamings, you know, whatnot, that's been so successful over there in Europe for like the soccer and all kinds of stuff. And they are a massive threat to any and all promoters in boxing. And what DAZN is doing, what Eddie Hearn is doing with DAZN, what John Skipper has done with DAZN, what, you know, now that they got Oscar De La Hoya with DAZN, it is a massive threat to not just Al Haymon and Bob Arum, but it is in fact a threat to the very, 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 very outdated business structure and business model of boxing programming. Okay, I love boxing, I love the sport, but in terms of how the programming is run, it can be very frustrating for me at times because let's call a spade here. Boxing programming and the way it's ran is stuck back in the year of 1994. And what DAZN I think has done has been marvelous. I think it's been great, giving fans high quality fights at affordable prices. And not just that, I think what DAZN has done more than anything is they've modernized boxing programming. What I mean when I say that is, you know, in boxing these days, you have Showtime, and, you know, for a long time you had Showtime, you had HBO. And those were the only two power brokers in boxing as far as networks are concerned, and the big fights always went to pay-per-view. But what DAZN what DAZN has done since they came into boxing is said, okay, we have X amount of dollars. We're gonna pay fighters X amount of money. You know, we're gonna put on high quality fights, and we're gonna build our subscriber base. And they're doing that. And you know, DAZN recently yesterday they came out and stated that they're gonna raise their prices from $9.99 a month to $19.99 a month. Or you could pay $100 for the year. And really, people are complaining about it, but really, it's not. That news isn't too crazy because one, if you just pay the $100 for the year, you actually save $20 in the long run. Because if you were to pay $19.99 or $20 for the whole year, that's what, $120. So if you pay the $100 for the whole year, you actually save money, and you don't have to worry about it for the year. It's off your mind for the whole year. So I like what they're doing. Obviously, I think DAZN has a long way to go. I think they have the worst commentary team in all of boxing, and I've said that many times. But you know, they're offering big fights. Their fighters are getting paid well. Their fighters are boxing often. You know, they really take, like, honestly, what DAZN is doing, it ticks all the boxes for fighters. You know, because as a fighter, all you really want is to get paid a good amount, be in big important fights, and box and be active. You know, obviously, you don't want to be fighting every month because this isn't the 1920s, but you want to basically box often, and you want to be in important fights, and you want to be able to show people, you know, how good you are and showcase your talents. And DAZN is doing that for their fighters. I mean, look, let's look at guys here in America. Like, for example, let's look at a guy like Tevin Farmer, right? Tevin Farmer is a guy DAZN has signed, and he has boxed in the last 6 months. Tevin Farmer has boxed about 3 times. Granted, he hasn't been fighting the best of opposition, but he's been boxing often. He's relevant. He's staying in the line. He's staying in the limelight. He's gonna be, when the big fight does come around, he'll be sharp, and it'll give himself the best chance to win. If he fights a guy like Tank Davis, even though I think he'll lose, he'll give himself a good chance of beating a guy like Tank Davis because he's fighting often. You see what I'm saying? So when you're a guy like Bob Arum, and look at what he's on April the 20th. April the 20th, Bob Arum's gonna have Amir Khan fighting Terrence Crawford, and that's a pay-per-view fight. That's a pay-per-view fight. And it's not a pay-per-view fight because Crawford has already shown in his first fight, Victor Postal, that he is not a draw by himself. Maybe in time he will become one, but he proved it already a couple years ago that he wasn't a draw. Now he's fighting a guy in Khan with a bit more name value, so I suspect that the numbers for Khan versus Crawford will double what he did against Victor Postal. But even if he doubles what he did against Victor Postal, that's still only 100,000 buys, and that's not great. That's not, you know, you're not knocking it out the park. So I think DAZN is a big threat to what Al Haymon and Bob Arum are trying to do, particularly from the Al Haymon side of things. Let's just call a spade a spade. Al Haymon start PBC, and I think it was a great idea. It offered a new avenue for fighters. It offered more competition for the sport of boxing. I think boxing is at its healthiest when there's multiple promoters putting on great fights. But ultimately, what's happened with the PBC, Al Haymon was supposed to keep the PBC on network television, and you know, if we asked ourselves the last 2 or 3 years, has he succeeded in keeping boxing on network television? The answer is a resounding no, he hasn't. The majority of PBC fights are on closed circuit television, on Showtime, and even more so this year. I mean, already this year you had in the first quarter of 2019, you've had 2 pay-per-view fights. One of which, okay, Pacquiao, I could understand because Pacquiao is a massive icon in the sport of boxing. Adrian Broner has somewhat of audience, and it was an intriguing matchup. Okay, I get that one, but Mikey Garcia versus Earl Spence, that's not a pay-per-view fight, and you put on pay-per-view. And then what was it? And then they're talking about, you know, in July, first 2 quarters of, oh, we're not, is it 2 quarters? No, my bad. Heyman's doing a lot of pay-per-views. That's all I'm saying. He's doing a lot of pay-per-views, and you know, I'm just saying DAZN is a massive threat to that, and you know, we'll see who winds up winning. And you know, I just think in terms of giving fans the value for their money, DAZN is absolutely crushing it right now. And you know what's funny? Whoever the matchmaker is, I've been on live for a couple of them. Most notably when Haymon Munguia fought Takashi Inoue. That was a Fight of the Year candidate, and the card was pretty good. And Tevin Farmer's last fight against Jonah Carroll, that was a good card. And I didn't expect that to be such a good card, and I didn't expect the main event to be such a good main event. So DAZN's been killing it as far as putting on great cards, giving fans value for money. And now, you know, you got some of the biggest names in boxing on the platform. You got Canelo, you got Joshua, you got Dimitri Bivol, you got it's a lot of really talented fighters. So when I look at this stuff in Bob Arum, I just see it as him speaking from a place of self-interest, from a place of, you know, maybe even a bit of fear. Because in knowing Bob Arum and knowing everything he said about Al Haymon all these years, just as little as 4 months ago, he called Al Haymon a cancer to boxing. That shouldn't be. And Al Haymon's decision to steer clear of Anthony Joshua. Let's see. Comments. Defo says Bob Arum touches kids and Al Haymon films him doing it. That's pretty disgusting, but whatever. The politics need to stop in boxing. Just make the fights. Happy to see Bob Arum get into discussions. The old man knows his boxing. The name of the game is making money. DAZN prizes are better than any other. Showtime boxing is going to business, just like HBO. I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one. I mean, as much as I've criticized Al Haymon in the past, he finds a way to stay alive. So you can't just say that. I think they'll be fine. All right, but that is what it is. There, we're gonna leave it. We're gonna leave Bob Arum over there. Moving on, in other news, Tyson Fury is they have an opponent for his ESPN debut. It was reported this morning that Tyson Fury's opponent for his ESPN debut on June the 15th at the Thomas & Mack Center will be none other than German unbeaten contender Thomas Schwarz. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not really too familiar with Tom Schwarz, and I went and looked at his resume this morning, and there was only one name on there I recognized, and that was Sened Gashi, who fought Carlos Takam recently. So he's not a guy that's fought anybody at world level opposition. You know, from the looks of it, he judging by his box rec, you know, and you can't really always judge by box rec, but I don't know anything about him, so that's what I'm doing. He's not. He seems to be in Fury. Should be a good opponent to give him some good rounds and hopefully test him. So it's good to see that Fury is going to be active. You know, Fury had a long layoff. Fury was out of the sport for a long time. He had the fight with Wilder. A lot of them taking a fight like this, you know, he should be afforded a chance to, you know, knock the cobwebs off all together. And June the 15th at the Thomas & Mack Center. That was the news this morning. So big shout out to Tyson Fury and Top Rank and just all the fine folks over there. So you have that. What else you got? You have, what is it? Where is it? I had it right here. Where is it? Oh, yeah, here you go. So the big news, and for me, this is actually more interesting than Tyson Fury and Bob Arum and all that stuff and Wilder. It was reported this morning by a number of news outlets that Alexander Usyk and Carlos Takam have, in fact, agreed to terms for a May 18th fight date in Chicago on DAZN, and it'll be Alexander Usyk's debut fight at heavyweight. Can you believe it? His debut fight at heavyweight, finally upon us. It is worth noting that Usyk and Alexander Povetkin were in talks, but those talks broke down, so Takam got the fight, and Usyk will be fighting him. Now, my overall take on that matchup is I think it's a good opponent for Usyk. Obviously, Carlos Takam is not a scrub. Carlos Takam gave Anthony Joshua one of his toughest fights. Carlos Takam, Parker. So he's a capable fighter, and if Alexander Usyk can't beat the Carlos Takams of the world, then he has no business being a heavyweight straight up. Takam will go in there. He will give him some rounds. He will definitely push him. Carlos Takam, we know, will come to win because he always comes to win. But we've seen Carlos Takam give a good account of himself against Joshua. We've seen him, in many people's eyes, beat Joseph Parker. And we've seen him get stopped by the likes of Derek Chisora. So he's a very unpredictable fighter. You just don't know which Takam will show up. But he will definitely give a good account of himself. He'll try. He'll come to win. And my man Shishi, he said he said Carlos Takam is old. Okay, yeah, you know, they couldn't find anybody else, so there you have it. You know, Usyk is not going to be getting, you know, guys aren't going to line up to fight him. You know, they know this guy is probably more skilled than them. They know that there's not a lot of money in it. They know that if they get schooled by him, they're going to say, well, you got schooled by a cruiserweight. So, you know, his first couple fights, it's going to be hard to get high-profile opponents. And, you know, obviously, I think Takam is a level below where a lot of boxing fans, myself included, would want Usyk to be fighting for his debut. But it's still, you can't complain about it. Takam is a tough fighter. Takam is going to come to win. And I just think it's really good for Usyk. So that's a fight that I'm not even gonna front. I would actually love to be at that fight because I rate Usyk highly. I actually have him as my #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world right now. I mean, what he did at cruiserweight was nothing short of spectacular. I mean, this guy literally at cruiserweight, you know, because people, I remember when guys he forgot to fight before he left 168. But what Usyk just did at cruiserweight, he literally cleared it out. Like, I mean, anybody you can name that was worth a damn in that division, he beat them. Okay, we talk about Miraculous, we talk about Marco Huck, we talk about Marius Breedis, we talk about Tony Bellew, we talk about Michael Hunter. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Tabasio Chunu, you know, he cleared it out. He cleared it out, and he cemented himself as the #1 fighter in the division. And arguably, you know, the argument could be made that he might even be the greatest cruiserweight of all time, right there with Evander Holyfield, because he did think Holyfield never did. Like, he was the first cruiserweight to defend the undisputed cruiserweight championship. And he did it in spectacular fashion when he knocked Tony Bellew right on his ass and had Eddie Hearn holding his head up at the end of the fight while he was on the canvas. So, you know, Usyk is a special fighter, and you know, people most notably Mr. Boxing Today, big shouts out to him. Mr. Boxing Today said that years ago in a video that I watched that he thought Usyk had a chance to go the Holyfield route, to go undisputed at cruiserweight, to go undisputed at heavyweight. So he's already on the road to becoming, you know, a heavyweight champion. And who knows, maybe the undisputed heavyweight champion begins on May 18th. I'm looking forward to it, man. So yeah, mark your calendars. May the 18th is going to be an interesting day. It is also worth noting as well that Alexander Usyk's fighting Takam on that day, right? On May the 18th. In Chicago. But that also happens to be the same day that Deontay Wilder is fighting Dominic Breazeale in at the Barclays Center. So you know, some competition for eyeballs and whatnot. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm not sure which fight I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna watch both of them more than likely. I'll find a way to watch them both. But for those of you who are gonna plan on watching that Wilder fight against Breazeale, also mark your calendars down because this fight will be going on at the exact same time. But let me know what you guys think about Usyk. Like, drop me some comments down below. What do you think about, like, just Usyk versus Takam, his heavyweight debut? Do you think it's a good fight? Do you think it's a bad fight? Do you think, you know, just let me know what you think. Let's get some comments. Oh, I had some right here. What is going on with Dillian Whyte? Well, Dillian Whyte, from what I heard, Eddie Hearn's last interview was that they had that July, I think it's the 15th or 14th date in, yeah, July the 14th, 15th in London, and they're still trying to sort out an opponent for him. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, we know recently that, I just did a video on it, recently that Eddie Hearn sent a letter to WBC trying to get the WBC to make Dillian Whyte the mandatory for the winner of Breazeale versus Deontay Wilder. So he's trying to force the WBC's hands into still fighting one of his guys if Wilder decides not to fight Joshua. So pretty interesting stuff there from Eddie Hearn. Usyk versus Joshua, who wins? I mean, we don't. If he's strong at the weight, and I think he'll have a good. I think he has a chance to be strong at the weight because people forget. In the World Series of Boxing, and for those of you who don't know what the hell the World Series of Boxing is, the World Series of Boxing was a semi-professional amateur boxing. Or no, not amateur. It was a semi-professional boxing tournament that featured some of the world's top amateur boxers, and they actually fought on teams. So like they had like the what was one team? They had like the Las Vegas Gauchos or some shit like that. Like they boxed on teams, and Usyk competed in that. And in the World Series of Boxing, he fought like Joe Joyce and all those guys, and he fought at heavyweight, but most people don't know that. And he was very strong at the weight. So if he's like that kind of strong when he fights now at heavyweight all these years later, I think he has a great chance of outskilling Joshua and outboxing him. No doubt about it. That's a fight that I will love in the future. Let's see. Yeah, Usyk fighting in Chicago, which I think is a good fight for him. And for boxing, you know, shout out to just Eddie Hearn, DAZN, John Skipper, and Usyk's team for getting the fight done, because we want to see this, man. The heavyweight division is in a great place right now. I think we're in a golden age of heavyweight boxing right now. We're heading towards it. You know, obviously there was in the last 2 years there has been 2 modern day classics at heavyweight. You've had Joshua versus Klitschko, and you've had Wilder versus Fury. So 2 modern day heavyweight classics in 2 years. And I think there'll be some more. Now with guys like Fury fully back in the fold. You have Wilder, you have Joshua, you have Dillian Whyte, you have guys like Jarrell Miller, you have Alexander Usyk entering the picture. You have some guys like Daniel Dubois, prospects in the couple, people pegged to be really, really great fighters. You know, it's a really good time for heavyweight boxing, and honestly, if you're not getting excited about the heavyweight division right now, I don't even know if you're a boxing fan, straight up. And the thing is too, with the heavyweight division, you can't even forget that you still have guys like Joseph Parker who are still lying around. You have your Jarrell Millers of the world, Povetkin's still around. So there's a lot of great fights out there to be made. And they will be made in time, and when they do, we'll be here to cover them here on True School Sports. But in other news, getting into it, going to the PBC side of things, they have finalized their May 11th card on Fox. It was reported this morning that PBC, Al Haymon, and all parties involved have in fact finalized their May 11th card, which will feature as the main event Jarrett Hurd defending his IBF and WBA junior middleweight titles against Julian Williams over there in Fairfax, Virginia. So basically in the DC area. So Julian Williams has to go be the road warrior of this fight and fight in Jarrett Hurd's backyard. It is also worth noting that on the undercard, on paper at least, there's a very, very, very good. We'll be fighting Emmanuel Alim, which is a very good fight. Korobov is coming off that performance against Jamal Charlo where he was a late replacement. Korobov came in as a late replacement, and I took the first 5 rounds, 6 rounds. Charlo got everything he could handle. He was in there with a very experienced, very skilled boxer. It was a good fight for him because he realized he could not just hit this guy with 1 shot or 2 shots and have him fall down. Like this wasn't Hugo Centeno. He had to actually think, and he had to show some depth to his overall skill set in boxing. People criticized Charlo because they said, "Oh well, this guy wasn't active, and Korobov is this, and Korobov is that. You should have stopped him. This proves that Jamal Charlo sucks." But no, I actually, for me, I left that fight actually with who had that kind of experience. He'd never fought anybody like that was that experienced skills. And he went through a bit of adversity. He didn't look his best, but Jamal Charlo definitely showed me something in that fight. And I think if you're someone who's writing him off in the middleweight division, I think you're making a big mistake because Jamal Charlo on his night can beat anybody in the middleweight division, and I mean anybody. I'm talking about Canelo. I'm talking about Andrade. I'm talking about Jacobs. Anybody you name, Jamal Charlo can beat them. Cause he can fight us off. And if you think he can't fight his ass off, I don't know what you're watching. Straight up. Yeah, Jarrett Hurd versus Julian Williams. That's a good fight. Julian Williams. This is his chance to stake his claim in the junior middleweight division again as one of the top guys. He was someone that years ago people were pegging to be one of those top guys, and then he had that devastating loss to Jamal Charlo, and he's been rebuilding himself since. He had a good victory over Nathaniel Gallimore, outclassed him, looked really good, showed good hand speed, good punch placement. So he's fighting a guy in Jarrett who, is a notorious slow starter, but probably one of the best pressure fighters in boxing. I would even go as far as to say that Jarrett Hurd is the black Antonio Margarito because he fights exactly like Antonio Margarito. He's a big for the weight class. He comes forward. He throws a lot of punches. He never stops. He's, a behemoth of a man for the weight, but he somehow makes the weight, and we don't know how, but he does. And, fair play to him. If you can make the weight, fair play to him. And feel strong, prerogative. He has to make that weight cut himself, but he's showing the discipline to do it, and he's doing it. And he's fighting a guy in Julian Williams who, in terms of pure boxing skills, I would say is definitely more skilled than Jarrett Hurd. But that doesn't matter with Jarrett Hurd because Jarrett Hurd knows how to break you down. And what Julian Williams is going to need to do this fight is he's, as much as humanly possible, take this fight and keep this fight in the center of the ring. You do that, I give Julian Williams a great chance of beating Jarrett Hurd. This might be the fight where Jarrett Hurd finally loses those belts. It might be that fight. I think it is. So that's a good fight. Back to Korobov though. Korobov will be fighting Emmanuel Alim. Alim is a good fighter. Alim had that great fight a couple years ago on the undercard of James DeGale versus Badu Jack. He fought Kaitrov, and that was a great fight. And now he's fighting a guy in Korobov, or doesn't have the work rate of a Kaitrov, but it's a fight for Alim where he can really really get himself back in the picture at middleweight and move up the ranks. So overall, I would say on paper, I criticize Al Haymon matchmaking a lot because sometimes it is very lopsided and the cards are overall as a whole are pretty basura, trash. If you don't know what that means in Spanish, But you know, this one right here on paper, as far as the main event and the co-main event, looks pretty good. So I can't hate on Haymon or PBC for this one. So yeah, that's that. May the 11th, Jarrett Hurd versus Julian Williams. You have that, and then let's see, you got what else? You got Dominic Breazeale. Okay, here Dominic Breazeale came out with a quote today, and this article is via Keith Idek on BoxingScene.com. I'm gonna get to your guys' comments in a second. Just if you're commenting, I haven't forgot about you. I'm seeing them. I see them over there on my screen. Leave your comments down below. I will get to them. I will get to them as soon as I'm done with the news. Chime in on whatever I'm talking about. Drop some other stuff in the comments as well. Yeah, and subscribe. You know, I know there's only 11 of you here, but if you're not subscribed to True School Sports, go subscribe if you haven't already. Dominic Breazeale came out this morning, and he stated that Anthony Joshua is 10 times better than Deontay Wilder. As many of us know, Dominic Breazeale was the first guy that fought Anthony Joshua once Anthony Joshua won the belt from Charles Martin, and he battered him for 7 rounds, got him out of there. Breazeale showed a lot of toughness, a lot of durability, but he took a beating that night, and he left with a lot of respect for Anthony Joshua following that. Here's what Breazeale said verbatim. He said, I quote, "Joshua's 10 times better than Deontay Wilder. He's just well-rounded. Mentally, physically, he's athletic, boxing skill-wise, and he's progressing. You could see in his earlier fights, he kind of did some things wrong, and he's kind of made those corrections. He's got punching power in both hands. He's put guys down with the right hand as well as left hook. Wilder, on the other hand, he slaps to death. It's like, yeah, in boxing, it's the shots you don't see coming, but that shot he throws, man, it's from way back there, like he's reaching for some whipped cream." He then went on talking about the Joshua fight, saying, I quote, "The Joshua fight, I learned that there was a bigger, stronger, more athletic man across the ring that night. At the same time, I learned that I had a lot to learn. The loss and experience of losing opened up my eyes to the fact that, yeah, I came from a quarterback man. I wasn't supposed to be doing this boxing thing. I started at 23. People still can't believe that I'm 33 now. I'm fighting for the WBC title. I tell the people that idea, they think it's a joke, but at the same time, you get in the ring with a guy like Joshua, he's got several belts for a reason, and he's defending against the right guys. Last time that chump Wilder was in the ring with a guy like Vladimir Klitschko, last time that chump Wilder was in the ring against a guy like Vladimir Klitschko, he got his ass knocked down, and that was in a sparring session. From what I understand, Klitschko wore 20-ounce gloves like I do. So for you to get knocked down with 20-ounce gloves, that doesn't say much about your chin. Joshua, on the other hand, he finished him that night." So you have it. Strong words from Dominic Breazeale. And, you know, fair play to Dominic Breazeale. You know, I'm not going to lie. As time has went on, I began to really like Dominic Breazeale because he comes to fight. You know, is he the most skilled fighter in the world? Absolutely not. Is he the creme de la creme heavyweight? No, he isn't. But if you look at the Joshua fight, right, and let's just look at this objectively for a second. When he fought Joshua in 2016, I think it was the summer of 2016, Joshua beat the daylights out of him, battered him, destroyed him, iced him, killed him, whatever adjective you want to use for whooping somebody's ass, he destroyed him that night. And it would have been very easy for Dominic Breazeale to get beaten like that and never be the same again, and be a completely trash fighter and lose, you know, and just fade into obscurity. But that's not what he's done. People seem to forget what Dominic Breazeale, that his first fight after losing to Joshua, they threw him in there with a very highly regarded prospect in Ngannou, the black Polish heavyweight. And I remember being on Boxing Scene back in those days, and people were saying Ngannou was going to be the next big thing heavyweight, and he's going to do this, and he's going to do that. And Breazeale was actually the underdog in that fight. People forget that. And he was losing that fight, and he was getting outboxed, and he gets caught with the right shot. And, you know, but Dominic Breazeale has that one-hitter quitter. He can get you out of there if he lands that right hand. And he found the right hand, and he got him out of there. So you have that, all right? So yeah, then he comes back, second fight. I was there live in the flesh. You know, he beat Eric Molina. Granted, it was older Eric Molina, but he beat him, stopped him. Then in his last fight, he fights a very skilled guy who's coming up at heavyweight in Carlos Negron. Negron's skill Breazeale won that fight was he was putting mental pressure on him the whole night. He was making sure that even if Negron was outboxing him and out moving him laterally, you know, he was lining him up for the right shots, and he found the right shots. So I'm going to say it like this, man. Do I expect Dominic Breazeale to defeat Deontay Wilder come May the 18th? No, I don't, because I think his lack of reflexes will be his ultimate undoing. But I will say this. This is a man who has came a very long way and is making his name on the gridiron. I believe Dominic Brazil was, I can't remember what university he played for. I don't know if it was USC, because I think that was Gerald Washington. But he comes from a football playing background, started boxing late. He started boxing at the age of 23, and that's very late. That's very, very late. And for him to even be a contender is an accomplishment within itself. It is. To even be a contender, to start boxing at 23 and to be a contender is an accomplishment within itself. And he's beating some good opponents on the way up. But now he has a chance to really come full circle and put it all together on May the 18th. And I wish him the best of luck. I'm not gonna lie. I'll be behind him, because Brazil comes to fight. He's someone that I think would be a good champion. He would fight the best. You know, he's already fought. You know, after he fights Wilder, he will probably be the only man. He might be one of the only contenders in the world who has fought Joshua and Wilder. So, you know, I'm rooting for him. I really am. The comment he made about Wilder getting put down in sparring against Vladimir Klitschko wearing 20-ounce gloves. I mean, I've heard those stories before. You know, and that's crazy too. And that's more of a testament to Vlad's power than Wilder's chin. 20-ounce gloves are very, very heavy. I mean, when I go to the gym and I hit the bag, I only use 16s. I only use 16-ounce gloves. 16-ounce gloves are your standard heavyweight gloves. So if I wear anything below 16, I'm gonna feel like Manny Pacquiao, and I'm already pretty fast to begin with, even with 16s on. So you know, yeah. And I'm sure it's just gamesmanship. It's just him talking trash and trying to get into Wilder's head. So May the 18th, a grudge match, a good fight at heavyweight. It's not the fight we wanted to see, but hey, it's happening, and I'll be rooting for the underdog. So there you have it. Dominic Brazil talking a lot of trash about Wilder, trying to get into his head and build that whole fight up. Last but not least, or not last but not least, there's two more things I gotta say, and then I'm gonna get your comments. So last but not least, Josh Warrington came out today, and he has already stated that he has no problem giving Carl Frampton a rematch if Frampton happens to get a belt. Here is what Warrington said in regards to that. He said, I quote, "Good for Carl. I guess good to see him going on. Hopefully he can get a big fight, get a world title, and if he does, then hopefully we can get a rematch down the line. I'd happily give him a rematch as long as he's got a world title." And there you have it. So Josh Warrington, one of boxing's true warriors. I mean, this is a guy who had himself quite the year last year. You know, he upset Lee Selby, became world champion at Ellen Road, home of his beloved Leeds United Football Club. You know, and then he fought Carl Frampton in a fight where people thought, you know, he was in way over his head, and he delivered one of the best performances in boxing all last year. So, you know, he's conducted himself like a champion. Obviously, he's got his big fight with Kid Galahad, his mandatory defense with Kid Galahad. There's bad blood with that fight. You know, he doesn't like Kid Galahad because Kid Galahad tested positive for performance-enhancing drugs quite a few times and got banned for 18 months by the British Boxing Board of Control. So he wants to do him in. He wants to put it on him when they fight, and so he has to get past that test, and that'll be a stern test for Warrington, because Galahad is no pushover. Galahad can punch. Galahad's gonna come to fight. He's gonna come to win. But that's the news for today. Last but not least, Paulie Malignaggi coming out speaking about the welterweight division. And he said that Errol Spence Jr. is the best fighter at 147 and that he would beat Terrence Crawford and Keith Thurman. Here's what he said verbatim. He said, I quote, where is it? He basically just said, all respect to all the other guys, but I think at the moment, Errol Spence is the best welterweight in the world. He then just talked about his boxing skills and how he was impressed with his boxing skills. So Paulie Malignaggi is pretty much crowning Errol Spence as the best welterweight in the world. I think that remains to be seen, because we got to see them in there with Crawford. You know, until Crawford and Spence square off, you don't really know. And in the meantime, you know, Errol Spence may need to just fight this guy first, Manny Pacquiao. And if he can do that and beat Manny Pacquiao in sound fashion, which I know people are going to expect, but I'm telling you right now, it's not going to be easy like you think. You know, I would definitely, it would be considered, because, you know, look at his last, you know, if he beats Manny Pacquiao, you're looking at a guy that's beaten the likes of, Algieri, Kell Brook, Lamont Peterson, Mikey Garcia, and Manny Pacquiao. I mean, pretty good names. The way he became champion was pretty impressive within itself. So, yeah. That's what it is. So that's the news for today. I'll probably make a couple of videos on that singular apart from this stream. But let me get your comments. So me go up. My dad says, do you think Spence can move up to another weight? He's pretty big for a welterweight. Well, I think Errol Spence will definitely end up his career fighting. He will, by the time his career ends, I'll be very, very surprised if he has not at least had one fight in the middleweight division. I mean, he's that big. He campaigns there. I could definitely see a scenario where if he goes on and establishes himself as a pay-per-view star, and he's got a chance to do that with the Pacquiao fight if he gets it. You know, I could see a scenario where Errol Spence moves up as high as 160 to fight Canelo at Cowboy Stadium, and they will absolutely shatter and crush all Cowboy Stadium ticket records for boxing. Maybe overall for any event. Manny versus Spence, who wins? Power versus speed. You know, that's an interesting one. It really is. I would favor Spence because I think Pacquiao at this point. In the Broner fight, I saw a bit of ring rust. You know, granted he won because I think he was just that much more. He was that much better than Broner. That he could have ring rust. He could have somewhat of a subpar performance and just win that many rounds. You know, he was that much better than Broner. But with a guy like Spence who can do so many things really well at the elite level, you know, I think Manny's, if he's gonna lose to Errol Spence, his ultimate undoing will be his lack of match sharpness. You know, he's not been boxing frequently. But, you know, laterally, moving side to side, Errol Spence has never seen anything like this. You know, and to be fair, you can't really prepare for what Manny Pacquiao brings to the table because, to quote Chris Algieri, because I interviewed Chris Algieri in 2017, and I was revisiting that interview I did with him where he talked about Pacquiao, and Chris Algieri said it best. He said, Manny Pacquiao does so many things wrong, but he gets away with it because it works for him. You know, he fights a fight that works for him, and, like, he's not a traditional boxer. You know, he punches from weird angles, he lunges, you know, he does all the things your boxing coach would tell you not to do. And he gets away with it because he's learned how to make it work for him. You see what I'm saying? So, Errol's gonna have to deal with Errol's gonna have to learn how to deal with that awkwardness, how to offset the movement, how to, you know, cut the ring off. And I'm gonna agree with my man Shishi. Manny Pacquiao might give Spence his hardest fight. I mean, a lot of people are seeing you talking about Thurman and Porter and even Terrence Crawford, and understandably so. Those guys are the younger guys, they're the newer blood, and most of the guys are in the prime. And Pacquiao's just some 40-year-old guy in defeat or even compete with Errol Spence at this point in time. But I'm telling you, I'm gonna keep saying it and keep saying it until I get proven otherwise. At his advanced age of 40 years old, Manny Pacquiao is still one of the best welterweights in the world. He's still one of the top 5 best welterweights in the world. On his day, when he's in that ring, he can beat any welterweight in the world. And that includes Terrence Crawford, that includes Errol Spence Jr., that includes Porter, that includes Danny Garcia, Keith Thurman, all them guys. He can beat all of them. He's that good. So, yes, to answer your question, I think Manny has a great chance of being Errol Spence Jr. She says he has to move up. He has to move up to even be on top 5 pound list. We haven't really seen Spence fight someone with a longer reach than him. I mean, and that would be the intrigue of the Crawford fight. I mean, I haven't had a chance to go look at their reaches, but I know Crawford has a pretty good reach. I believe his reach is pushing about 73, 74-ish, something like that. I don't know if he has longer arms than Spence, but I'm sure he either has equal to or longer arms than him, and that's would probably make the fight a little more interesting. Fury's fighting an unknown fighter, Tommy Temper. What's up, Tommy? How you doing, champ? Yeah, well, listen, he just signed a mega deal with ESPN. He's coming off the Wilder fight. They're not going to throw him in there with anybody of note. So they threw him in there with Mr. Tommy Schwartz, the 20 unbeaten German contender, who's been killing it in the German boxing scene, knocking dudes out left, right, and center. But he hasn't fought anybody, really. And it's the perfect fight for Fury. And you know, this is boxing, so he still has to go do the job on the night. And we'll see what happens. Size and reach were a huge factor in that Mikey Garcia fight. They were, but I think more importantly, what was really a factor in that fight was ring generalship, timing. How about that? How about ring generalship? How about feinting? How about breaking your opponent's rhythm? How about that being, because Errol Spence is not going to be able to exploit his reach if he doesn't break the rhythm and dictate the ring and where the fight is fought on Mikey Garcia. So yeah, it was a factor, but I think ring generalship was too. Hurd is an aggressive fighter who keeps coming. Absolutely. He's a black Antonio Margarito. Lomachenko versus Teofimo Lopez. Who wins and why? That's an interesting fight. That to me is like, I mean, we talk about it almost every single day, and almost anytime I come here live, that fight is always talked about. And with that being said, you know, Lomachenko is a fantastic fighter. He is A-level across the board. He does everything great. Everything he does great. He fights inside great. He fights at mid-range great. He fights outside great. The guy is the Picasso of boxing, because every time he goes in the every time he goes in the ring, he paints you a beautiful picture, and he's a joy to watch. But one thing that I've seen with Lomachenko that he does have problems with when he does fight is, and I agree with Teofimo when he made this point, is that Lomachenko struggles with fighters who don't just sit in the pocket. Example, he fought a veteran fighter in Jorge Linares who doesn't fight in the pocket like, you know, most of his opponents. And Linares was outboxing him for the majority of the fight until he got stopped. So, you know, I think Teofimo's got a great chance. He's got fight-changing power. He's got the right mentality. He's got the right attitude. You know, that title shot next. Manny's old, Spencer's in his prime. Come on, man. Yeah, but of course, we know Manny's old. We know Spencer's in his prime. But I'm not gonna sit here and write off Manny Pacquiao. I mean, this guy has defied all logic in boxing for years and years and years. So, you know, until Manny Pacquiao shows me that he's no longer a top level fighter, I'm gonna continue to rate him as a top level fighter. And I'm gonna talk about him as a top level fighter, and we will respect him as a top level fighter. But Manny has a bigger chance than Mikey. Absolutely. Mikey Garcia had no chance whatsoever. He had zero chance to beat Earl Spence Jr. Can Daniel Dubois, Caleb Smith, Anthony Fowler, Josh Taylor ever become champions? Well, I think, Caleb Smith's already a champion. And Dubois and Josh Taylor are going to be champions for sure, in my humble opinion. Andy Ruiz Jr. is looking great. And you know what? Let's talk about Andy Ruiz, because Andy Ruiz seems to be the forgotten man at heavyweight. Like, nobody talks about Andy Ruiz anymore. He had that one big fight with Joseph Parker. He hasn't really been, you know, boxing as much. But let's talk about him, because the guy is a very talented fighter. The guy, you know, obviously he's not going to win any bodybuilding contest. You know, he's not coming in with the six-pack and all that stuff. But the guy can fight. Got good hand speed. Got incredible punching power. You know, he's one of those guys that I'd love to see fight Joe Joyce or Adam Kalnacki or Jarrell Miller. You know, I want to see these fat guys fight each other. Because I think he can beat these guys, and I wouldn't even mind a Joseph Parker rematch, because a lot of people thought he beat Joseph Parker, and he was unjustly robbed of becoming world champion. And how different his career could have gone. He would have been the first Mexican heavyweight champion. You know how who wrong beside Estrada #2. Honestly, I'm so sick of picking against Wrong Masai and being wrong. So I'm going to pick Wrong Masai for this fight. You know, the guy beat my favorite fighter of all time twice. He beat Estrada in the, what was it? He beat Estrada in, the funny thing was, he actually showed the ability to be the counterpuncher against the counterpuncher, which was absolutely insane when he fought Wrong Masai. I was thoroughly impressed with his performance. Primo Carnero is the first Mexican heavyweight champion. I thought Primo Carnero was Italian. Primo Carnero's a Mexican, is he? Let's see. Nah, Primo Carnero is Italian. What are you talking about? Yeah, so like there's never been a Mexican heavyweight champion before. Andy Ruiz would have been the first, and you know that would have been forever and ever and ever. So just big shout out to Andy Ruiz, man. You know, there's a lot of good boxing on. Program reminder for the 12 of you that are here right now, that watch my channel, that frequent my channel. I just want to remind you that this week, starting tomorrow, we're gonna be having three live fight reactions. 3 live fight reactions. Okay, 2 tomorrow. In the afternoon, we will be live for the Charlie Edwards Angel Moreno fight. It'll be Charlie Edwards' first defense of the WBC flyweight title. On the undercard, you're going to have Lawrence Okoli fighting Wandy Camacho for the British Commonwealth title as he continues to push on and move forward his cruiserweight career. Also, you're gonna have Joshua Buatsi. He's fighting what's his name? Liam Conroy, whatever his name is. So he'll be looking to push on as well and move up the light heavyweight rankings as he pushes on towards a world title. And then at night we have Bogdan Dinu in his second big fight, fighting Kubrat Pulev. As Pulev continues to try to move up the top 10 of the heavyweight division and challenge for world titles. That'll be on ESPN at night. We will be live on Haymon Arena at night. It'll be Bogdan Dinu versus Kubrat Pulev in a heavyweight fight. And then Sunday night, we will be live for Lamont Peterson versus Sergey Lipinets. So there you have it. True School Sports on live 3 times this week. That's not even including any other times you might be live for just regular mundane boxing talk like this. But, you know, put all those together in my schedule. They should be in your subscription. So set your reminders. Tomorrow we'll be live at 2:50 p.m. My time. So that would be that'd be morning in West Coast. And so, you know, you'll see him. You'll see me here live. But yeah. So we'll be live for Edwards Moreno, live for Pulev Dinu, and live for Lipinets Peter boxing grind. So there you have it. But let's see what else we got. I kind of wanted to go back to the hold on. Interesting. Okay. Wilder, kind of going back to the Wilder thing, you know, I'm over here on Boxing Scene right now reading some comments from people on that article. So there's mixed reviews about him turning down the fight. You know, one guy right here said it's deeper than Fury versus Wilder. The last thing Bob Arum wants is DAZN putting fights like Joshua versus Wilder for $9.99 a month when he's trying to charge people for extra for the likes of Conor versus Crawford. He definitely has an agenda here, but it'll be fun seeing those who never believe a word he says take the statement as the gospel. I mean, but at the same time, you know, you're talking about becoming the undisputed champion. So all Wilder would have to do is win the fight, and he's in the driver's seat of boxing. You know, fuck the rest of fuck the rest of the heavyweight division. He's in the driver's seat of boxing. If Deontay Wilder would have taken the fight against Anthony Joshua, okay, and decided to fight him, and he beat him, and you know, obviously there'll be a rematch, and let's say he beat him again in the rematch. He's in the driver's seat of boxing, and he can either continue to defend those titles as undisputed champion and get bigger paydays and be the undisputed baddest man on the planet. Because, you know, it's one thing to posture, it's one thing to be in front of a people at a press conference when you're fighting Bermain Stavern, a dead man walking, and say, I am the most feared, I am this, I am that. And it's another thing to actually sign the contract and fight the best fighter, what many people believe is the best fighter in the division, and Joshua. Tommy Temper, what's up, champ? Was it £5? Thank you, champ, for the super chat. Really appreciate that. He said, True School Sports, I'm a Fury fan, and he is fighting Tom who? He's fighting Tom Shores, Tommy. Tyson Fury's ESPN debut will be on June the 15th here in America in Las Vegas at the Thomas & Mack Center. He's fighting Tom Shores. Now, all I know about Tom Shores, Tommy, is that Tom Shores is 24-0. He's got 16 knockouts, and the most notable fighter the only fighter's name on his resume that I recognize is Sened Gashi, who you probably don't even know about, but you may or may not know about him. He's not a very big name, but he's fighting Sened Gashi. Sened Gashi, 17-2. He's most notable for losing his most recent fight in December. He got stopped by Carlos Takam, so he's fighting a guy who got stopped by the guy that's fighting Alexander Usyk for his heavyweight debut. So take that as you must. You know, I don't know, man. Like, I'm not mad at Fury because I understand that he was out the ring for a while. He had the big Wilder fight, and they could sign a big deal with ESPN. So they're not just gonna throw him in there with somebody that he could possibly lose to. They're gonna put him in there with somebody who's inexperienced at world level, and expect Fury to show his class in the night and absolutely, thoroughly outclass him and outbox him. That's what should. But you never know. This guy seems to be somewhat of a puncher. I haven't watched any film on him, so I don't know. I don't know anything about his boxing style or anything like that. But you know what? Let's find out. You know what? F it, Tommy. For your sake, let's try to find out a little bit more about Tom Shores, because I don't know shit about this guy. I don't know anything about Tom Shores. Let's see. Who is Tom Shores? That's the question of the day. Who is Tom Shores? So there's an article on the Mirror that came out 5 hours ago. Let's go through it. Okay. Tom Shores. So he's 6'6". He's a big guy. No, accept. So right now, yeah, for those of you right now that are live with me, it's 11:59 a.m. here or on True Sports. We're heading into the noon hour. It's your boy BT down below, and we will definitely I'll get your questions and your comments as it is concerned. Yeah, Tom Shores. Who is this guy, Tom Shores? Okay, he's very unfamiliar. He's unheralded. The most notable opponent is Sened Gashi, a Carlos Takam leftover. But this is a guy in Tom Shores who is 6'6". You know, he's someone who turned early in his pro career. He was 19 in 2013, so that would mean he's 25 now. So he's 25 years old, inexperienced at world level. What else? What else we got? I mean, there's not a whole lot on him. He's fought a whole bunch of guys who are not that notable, and he's never fought anybody in either class of Tyson Fury. So I haven't watched any tape on him, but they say he carries speed and movement. He's pushing about 200 pounds. He's got a tough chin, capable of taking punishment according to this article I have in front of me. What else we got? So there you have it. Yeah, that's Tom Shores in a nutshell. So that's what he's fighting next. I hope, Tommy Temper, that I answered your question. I'll probably have to go watch some film on him when I'm done with this, because I have no clue. I don't know anything about Tom Shores myself, and I want to know for myself. So you said Tom is the lamb. Yeah, he looks to be the lamb, the sacrificial lamb. You're right. I would agree. Fight I'm on. Lorenzo Corley. Are you a fighter, Lorenzo? Are you saying you're on like you're ready? You're gonna watch that fight and you're excited for it? Or are you saying you're on like because you're a fighter and you know? That's a I have not talked about that fight at all, because I'll be honest with you, I'm not ultra excited for it, to be honest with you, but I don't know, man. Hold on. I'm on low battery. Hold on, guys. Fuck. I'm gonna have to hold my phone here for a second. I'm still trying to figure out, because I scheduled this thing to go live, and then it wouldn't let me rotate it, but yesterday it let me rotate it, so we're still trying to figure it out. But I'm just gonna hold my camera like this for now, because it won't let me rotate it like this, like the way I need it to. It don't even work when I rotate. Like if I rotate like this, how does it look if I rotate like this? Let me see. Let's see, how does it look? Not so hot. Okay, whatever. Anyway, I'll just hold it like this because that's the best thing to do. But her last fight had me pretty amped. Well, no, Clarissa's a good fighter. Obviously, you don't win 2 gold medals in the Olympics being a bum, being someone who can't fight. She can definitely fight. She lives in my area in South Florida, not in my area, but like around the South Florida area, and she trains in a lot of gyms here. She gets most of her work down here, and Clarissa can fight. I've seen her spar men. I've seen her spar men and hold her own, and she's a beast. It's just unfortunate for her so far that she hasn't been able to knock anybody out or capitalize with a knockout. But against Christina Hammer, I think she's going to be severely put to the test. Christina Hammer is a world champion. Christina Hammer, can punch herself. It's got boxing skills. So it's the biggest fight right now for her in her division. And we'll see. Obviously, Clarissa has said she wants to fight Cecilia Brækhus. I think that'll probably be the biggest fight for her. And it'll probably be a passing of the torch fight where she stops Cecilia Brækhus and really announces herself to the world of women's boxing. But honestly, when we talk about women's boxing, listen, the only matchup to me that matters, straight up, the only matchup to me that truly matters in women's boxing that will settle the score once and for all is Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano. That is one of the best fights, not just in women's boxing, but boxing at large. I mean, Katie Taylor is a class of everybody in and around her weight class. You know, Amanda Serrano has made history as the only Puerto Rican fighter, man or women, to win a world title. I believe it was 6 weight classes now. You know, she wins the world title in 20 weight classes now. It's hard to keep up, but that's the fight for me. And Amanda Serrano is one of the few fighters in women's boxing who has shown the ability to finish her opponents off and get them the hell out of there. You know, she irons them out like a wrinkled pair of jeans, straight up and down. She does, and that's the fight I want to see. Ronald Finkley, what's up, champ? He said Fury is the biggest, most scary boxer who ducked rematch. It's sad. AJ got Fury damn near killed. I mean, look, it was said in December. It wasn't surprised that Fury didn't take the rematch immediately with Wilder because I don't know if you saw my video in December, Ronald, but Ben Davison, his trainer, came out in like December or November of last year, and he literally said, we're gonna let Joshua and Wilder fight each other, and we're gonna go our own route. He said that in like November, December, and you know, I'm not mad at him for it because, you know, did I want to see a rematch? Obviously, I would have rather seen a rematch than Tyson Fury versus Tom Schwartz, you know, but he's been out the ring for a while, and if he as a trainer, if they feel like they want Fury to box some rounds, get some rounds in to knock the cobwebs off even more and get to his best level, then fair play to him. He can do that. And in my opinion, and in the opinion of many, Ronald, people think Fury beat Wilder, and that's the public perception. So because of public perception, it's okay. That's why Wilder's begging for the rematch, and that's why Fury's not going to give it to him. Right away, at least. Lorenzo Corley says, she's about to dominate. I see something different in Shields. I feel you on Amanda, though. What do you see different in Clarissa Shields, Lorenzo? I mean, I know she's a great fighter. I've seen her spar. I've talked to her. She's a fantastic person. She's a fantastic fighter. But, I mean, she's got competition for best fighter in women's boxing. You know, I think you got fighters like Amanda Serrano who are going to give her a run for her money. You got Katie Taylor, who's going to give her a run for her money. You got Delphine Persoon, who's an undisputed champ. She's going to give her a run for her money. Cecilia Brækhus is still in the picture. She's an undisputed champ herself. You know, you got Sinisa Estrada, the most beautiful, literally the most beautiful women's boxer I've ever seen in my life. She's going to give everybody a run for her money. That's probably my favorite women's boxer, Sinisa Estrada. She'll beat everybody's ass. Yeah, but a rematch is definitely needed. What if it were 15 rounds? Wilder might have won. You know, maybe in the 15 round era, you know, that fight might have favored Wilder. But unfortunately, we're not in the 15 round era anymore, and you know, it didn't happen. What if football games were 95 minutes long and not 90 minutes? Liverpool may have won a title in the last 30 years. LOL. You're right. And you know what? Liverpool ain't winning no title this year. Yeah, Manchester City hopefully takes it because as a diehard, massive American Evertonian, I cannot stand to see Liverpool win a title. I'm good. Fury stunned Wilder in the 12th after the knockdown. Exactly. And you know, I have this thing where I always say I always say this about that fight, you know, and I've always said this. I said Tyson Fury came into that fight against Wilder. I believe he weighed about 256 pounds. If he fights Wilder at a lighter weight, like 246 pounds, which was basically what he was when he around when he fought Vladimir Klitschko. He'll be more elusive. He'll be harder to hit. He'll be able to get throw more punches that Wilder can't see and hit him with those punches. And Fury is not an elite puncher, but he's got power. He's got enough power to make you respect him. You know, kind of like in the same sense as Mayweather. When Mayweather fought at welterweight, Mayweather wasn't an elite puncher at welterweight, but he had power to make you respect him and keep you honest. And I would not be the least bit surprised if they fight again. If Fury is at his peak condition, like the best condition he can be in, I will not be surprised if he stops Wilder. You heard it here first. Because he stunned him in that 12th round. And he was able to catch up with a lot of shots in the middle rounds of that fight, 1-2s and things like that. So I'm telling you, Tyson Fury at 246 pounds can stop Deontay Wilder. The female that makes the footwork look good, my weak spot, Hannah Gabriel. Oh my God, Hannah Gabriel she's cute too. I like Hannah Gabriel. She's nice. She's quite nice. Like Tyann Booth would say. Shout out to Tyann Booth. She's quite nice. You know, Hannah Gabriel. She can fight. Her fight with Clarissa Shields was the best fight. My favorite fight of Clarissa Shields' career so far. Remember, I made a video of Hannah Gabriel's saying that she was a Costa Rican boxing legend because they don't have really too many legends over there. They don't have too many fighters. Like the only Costa Rican boxers that I can name are women's boxers, and they're both hot. There's Hannah Gabriel's and there's Yacosta Valle or Valle. I don't know how to say her name, but she's hot too. That was just fatigue. Tyson Fury has no power. No, he's not an elite puncher, but he can hurt Deontay Wilder. I'm telling you, he can hurt Deontay Wilder. Fury stunned him but didn't capitalize on it. Well, I think he didn't capitalize it because he was from one, he was tired. He just got the daylights kicked out of him, the shit kicked out of him with that 1-2 Wilder hit him with in the 12th round, and he was just trying to survive in the 12th round. And luckily for him, he did. If Wilder knew how to throw body shots, he would have broken. If Wilder was a good body puncher, I think he would have stopped him that round. But unfortunately for Wilder, and fortunately for Fury, Wilder isn't a good body puncher. So that's where Fury kind of got let off the hook. Definitely had to look at her fights. I mean, I follow her on Instagram. I follow Yacosta Valle on Instagram. She's quite nice. She's quite nice. But my favorite, the most beautiful women's boxer in the world is Seniesa Estrada. She's great. I love her. As a fight, and I'm not even just talking about just look. She can actually fight her ass off. She's a really great fighter. I think she has a chance to be the cash cow women's boxing. Hunter Wilder still has a bigger chance in the rematch, though. I don't know about bigger chance, but he has a chance. Listen, as long as he's got that fight-changing power, he always has a chance. You know, that right hand that he has is the difference between him working at IHOP, serving me, you know, sticky bun pancakes with bacon and eggs, and him being a WBC world champion. These Wilder fans are reaching. I mean, hey, they're entitled to their opinion here on True School Sports. We're not gonna hate on them for that. I just highly disagree. You know, I highly disagree. I don't know. I don't think he has a bigger chance in rematch. I think it's gonna be worse for him in the rematch. I think Fury will stop Wilder in the rematch, straight up. I'm not even gonna lie. I think Fury at peak condition he's gonna stop Deontay Wilder. And I know that's probably laughable to some of you guys, but you know, I'm just telling you guys. I'm telling you. I'm trying to tell you. Deontay Wilder's not getting any younger. Fury wasn't at his best when he fought Wilder, and he was landing easy. And he'll land even easier at a lighter weight. But it's your boy BT. It's 12/12 here in Dania. We're here live on True School Sports. This is probably the first of. I might go live later. I'm not really sure yet. I'm trying to get myself conditioned and on like a set schedule of going live, because I want to go live. It's enjoyable for me. So Ronald Finkley said, I have to look at more of Brazil's fights today. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not really studying Brazil that much. Okay, well, I'll put it to you like this, Ronald. I'll give you my assessment of Dominic Brazil, and then when you go watch him, you can tell me Brazil is a flexes. He's got an okay. The best thing he has going for him is his right hand, his power. I always said about Dominic Brazil, I think he's the bootleg Deontay Wilder. He's the same. It's the same thing as Wilder. In a lot of his fights, he gets outboxed. A lot of times, guys are outskilling him, and boom, 5th, 6th round, 7th round, he gets you out of there. But the only difference him and Wilder, the only thing that separates him and Wilder is athleticism and speed. That's it. Daniel Vasquez, what's up, champ? He says, do you think Alexander Usyk can dominate the heavyweight division? That all comes down to how strong he feels at the weight. If he feels strong at the weight, absolutely, no doubt about it. He is just that damn good. He's just that damn good, straight up. Alexander Usyk is good enough to go undisputed and be the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. I have no doubt about it. I think he's in a school Carlos Takam on May 18th. And if you didn't hear Daniel, Alexander Usyk will in fact be making his heavyweight debut on May the 18th in Chicago against Carlos Takam. So mark your calendars down for that. But yeah, I think he beats like Jarrell Miller. I think he beats Jarrell Miller. I think he beats Povetkin. Parker he beats. Brian Jennings he schools. I don't think he'll be Fury. I don't think any man born from his mother can be Tyson Fury, to be honest with you. But I think he can compete with Joshua. I think that's a 50-50 fight, to be honest with you. I think a fight with him and Wilder, I'd pick him to beat Wilder, and it'd be a great fight. G Boogie, what's up, champ? How you doing? He says, to put it in perspective, if Deontay Wilder looks weak in any aspect of the fight against Dominic Brazil, it's not a good look for Wilder. Well, I wouldn't go that far, I wouldn't go that far. It is a fight he should win. It is a fight that I'm heavily favoring him to win. But Brazil is a live dog. Brazil has, as long as Brazil can punch the way he can punch, he's always got a chance. The interesting thing for me is, and I want you guys who are here right now, the 10 of you that are here, I want you guys to be mindful of this, and you should be mindful of this. Dominic Brazil recently employed and hired the services of Virgil Hunter to be his trainer. Virgil Hunter, if you've been on my channel for any amount of time, when I talk about Virgil Hunter, I do not regard him very highly as a trainer. I think he's very overrated. I think he was only a good trainer for a guy like Andre Ward. He ran Conor to the ground. He ran Berto into the ground. He wasn't very good for their careers. He wasn't good for Fonfara either. He was the worst thing that probably ever happened to Andre Fonfara. But one thing that I would like to see from Virgil and help Brazil with is maybe giving what do you call it? I was gonna say one thing I'm looking forward to seeing from Virgil Hunter in regards to Brazil is maybe him showing Brazil some of those dirty Andre Ward tactics. I don't like condone that stuff, but I mean, I think he's gonna have to muddy up the waters and make this a dirty fight with Wilder. That's his best chance to win. That's his best chance to beat Wilder. He's gonna muddy up the waters and make it a dirty fight. And if he can do that, he will do himself a big favor. He'll give himself a great chance to win. And I think he's got the right guy in his corner to teach him those things. And maybe they can have Ward come to camp and show him how to throw elbows and punch guys in the balls and get away with it. But let's see. Let's get to some more comments. Adam James, what's up, champ? What's up, Adam? I saw your comment the other day. Thanks. Shout out to you, man. He said, Fury really isn't as good as you're making out. I've watched him from early in his career, and he looked terrible on many occasions against weak opposition. Okay, you're referring to some of his fights. I've watched almost all of his fights too. You're referring to like his fights against like John McDermott when he looked like shit. He looked horrible in that fight. He looked absolutely trash in that fight. A lot of people thought he lost the fight. Came out the second fight, beat him. But he shouldn't have had a second fight with him. He should have outclassed him. But you know what? That happens as a prospect. As a prospect, you're not. My thing is this: if you're a prospect and you're looking good every fight, most of the time that's kind of worrying. You need to be you need to have a fight. You need to have at least one fight as a prospect where you look like shit and you don't look like the creme de la creme, because what that tells me is that you're not all the way there yet, and it forces you to go back in the gym and work on what you need to work on. Fury is a special fighter, and he is as good as I'm making him out to be. Absolutely. He doesn't look as good against a lot of opponents because guess what? He's just that much better than most of the opponents. He didn't look as good against Christian Hammer or Derek Chisora or any of these guys because he was that much better than him. You know, he didn't look that good against Vladimir Klitschko because he was just that much better than him. Straight up, okay? He is the best heavyweight in the world. And I'm gonna scream that until the mountains come home. Tyson Fury is better than Anthony Joshua. Tyson Fury is better than Deontay Wilder. Why is he better than those guys? Because he is a complete fighter. Complete fighter, okay? He has better footwork than both of them. He's got a better jab than both of them. He's got better, in terms of commanding the distance, better than both of them. We're back. Had a bit of a malfunction. I think my Wi-Fi was tripping, but yeah. A lot of people thought McDermott beat him. He probably should have lost that fight. But he's learned from that fight. He's gotten a lot better since that fight. And come on, man. Fury is the best fighter in the heavyweight division. He is the perfect mixture of boxing skills, toughness, confidence, mentality, and footwork. Okay, we're back again. I don't know why my stuff is tripping here, but we're here, we're back. You're live on True School Sports. What I was trying to say is the argument could be made that Tyson Fury is a more balanced fighter than Anthony Joshua because for what he lacks in punching power, he makes up for in footwork, in ring generalship, boxing IQ. I think I would put him above Joshua in those departments as well. Yeah, I don't know what's doing that. My Wi-Fi says I'm connected. Let's see. I think we're good now. Okay, we're good. But I think your connection needs to be stabilized. Maybe it's the bounce vibration in the floor. Maybe. Right now, I'm actually holding my my iPhone because I don't know what it is, man. When I go live for these things, sometimes I've noticed this the last couple times I went live. Like when I scheduled it this morning to go live, I noticed that when I schedule it and I hold my camcorder sideways, it allows me to, because what I've realized is when I don't hold it like sideways before I go live, and then I have to hold, and then this happens, and it won't let me turn it sideways because then. So it's a learning process, but DAZN earlier, you probably missed that, but you can go watch it back. You can go watch the stream back when I put it up on my channel. But how you feeling, man? I just want to let you know, Adam James and Hawker Mustang, if y'all don't know, I'll be live 3 times tomorrow. Or no, twice tomorrow. 3 times the next 2 days for fights. I'll be live for the Charlie Edwards fight against Moreno. I'll be live for Kubrat Pulev versus Bogdan Dinu tomorrow night. And then I'll be live on Sunday night for Sergey Lipinets versus Lamont Peterson, which figures to be an interesting fight. It's a fight where Lipinets can break out and make a statement in the welterweight division. It's a good little crossroads fight. So looking forward to that. Not really excited for that PBC card. It's a pretty trash card from what I saw, the matchups. Be good to go live after the English card, bro. Yeah, I'll be live for the English card, and I'll probably be live after. And I'm gonna try to make sure I have all my issues sorted out before then. It's just like there's always something like sometimes it's like internet issues, sometimes it's fucking lighting issues, but you gotta learn how to adjust. A good fighter knows like a good fighter knows how to adapt. I have to know how to adapt while I'm here live. But I'm enjoying it. I've really been enjoying talking boxing a lot recently. I'll be live the next week too, for the Ryan Garcia fight. Bruh. What is going on? Could Donaire still compete at elite level? Well, he's in the semifinal of the World Boxing Super Series. He just beat Ryan Burnett. I think Donaire can still compete at the elite level. Can he beat the elites at 118? I don't know. And the fact that he's a little older, it's probably a hard weight cut for him. I have my doubts, but he's a more than capable fighter. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see if there's anything new in the boxing world. Let me go on Michael Benson's Twitter account. But by the way, for those of you guys who want to know like boxing news and stuff, Michael Benson does really good stuff on his Twitter account. I go there for a lot of my news. What? That's insane. So let's go through his Twitter account and see if there's anything new that I didn't cover already. Let's see. The British Boxing Board of Control, it was reported that the British Boxing Board of Control have in fact ordered Joe Joyce versus Daniel Dubois for the vacant British heavyweight title on April 10th, is the purse bid. So, hey, big fight for the UK boxing scene. I don't know if y'all heard me, but because it says I had bad connection. Hey, can y'all do me a favor? Because on my phone, for some strange reason, on my phone, it's telling me that I have really bad connection and all that stuff. Can y'all do me a favor and can y'all hear? Just tell me in the comments, yes or no. Can you hear me clearly right now? Check 1 2 1 2. It appears that you can because Adam is talking about the fight between Dubois and Joe Joyce. Okay, so we're good. All right, thank you guys, appreciate that. Yeah, but that's been ordered. April the 10th is the purse bid, and that's a fantastic fight. That really is a fantastic fight. You know, we'll finally get a chance to see Joe Joyce in there with a top name in the division, a guy in Joe Joyce who's you know, very experienced. A lot of people will rate him highly, and we'll see Joe Joyce finally get tested in the pro ranks. You know, and he's been a guy that's been trying to get a fight with Jarrell Miller and all that stuff. So you know, good news there. So right now, too, on Michael Benson's Twitter account, I'm actually, right now, as I'm talking to you guys, I'm watching clips of Tom Schwarz, who is Tyson Fury's next opponent. Sined Gag, oh my god, yeah, Tyson Fury is going to rip this dude a new asshole. This guy is, I don't want to say he's horrible, but yeah. Lighting this dude, he was backing up to the ropes, throwing body shots. This dude's shelling up. This dude's shelling up like this. He looks like a very base, nice, but yeah, he's gonna get his ass whooped. He thought, oh, you know what? No, those left hook pretty good. His fight with Sined Gashi was pretty. It ended in a disqualification because Sined Gashi decided to headbutt him. Jesus. Okay, so there's that. Daniel Dubois. It was reported this morning that Daniel Dubois has entered the top 15 of the WBO. He is ranked number 13 by the WBO. So it's the first sanctioning body that Daniel Dubois is actually ranked in. So he's here he is. He's broken through the top 15. Let's see what else we got. Eddie Hearn revealed that he's planning a next-gen show in Nottingham on May 10th and a June show that could be headlined by Kalia Fight in Birmingham. Okay, so Eddie Hearn busy at work. Maurice Hooker has signed an extension with Rock Nation and Matchroom USA to continue his bouts. They're targeting a big fight with Jose Ramirez and a big unification fight at 140. That'd be a good fight, man. Maurice Hooker really showing himself to be one of the true champions of boxing. You know, this is a guy I remember watching him fight Darius Perez on the Ward Kovalev undercard, and he looked like trash. And I wrote him off, but this guy's proven me wrong, and I really going to like him. I like Maurice Hooker a lot, actually. And let's see what else is there, and that really seems to be about it. John Ryder versus David Lemieux is reportedly set for Canelo versus Daniel Jacobs. Ryder will be putting his position mandatory on the line with Caleb Smith. So there's that. Marcos Maidana's team have declared that they are targeting a June return at 152 before getting him down to welterweight. He was 215 pounds and he first returned to the gym, and now he's 190 pounds. So there you have it. That's really all the boxing news there is for today. Let me get to some more comments before I continue to move on. Before I end this, because I'm gonna be on here for probably about 15 more minutes before I go ahead and push on with the rest of my day. Gotta get a haircut. You know, the hair is getting a little too curly. Let's see. Oh, by the way, I did a poll. I don't know if you guys saw the poll. We're doing a poll this week on the channel. I don't know if you saw it. I did a poll asking, "Did you thank Al Haymon today?" And the four responses. The four responses I got were the four responses that the options you had to pick from on that poll. Did you thank Al Haymon today? Were no, that guy is a prick. Yes, but I'm gonna thank him some more before today is over. How can I thank him if I don't even know he exists? And four, Bob Arum and Eddie Hearn deserve my thanks more than Al Haymon. Those are the four options. And Al Haymon is a prick. No, Al Haymon is a prick. That one was second. I think like 30%. So yeah, go vote on that poll if you haven't already. Let's see. Yeah, it's a bad fight. Bob Arum found easy money for Fury. Wilder's gonna be jelly. Yeah, he's gonna be really, really jealous. He's gonna say, "Damn, I wish I could fight a guy like that." Bob is a joke. They want Fury to impress in this fight, as in get a KO to build his power stock up. Good move, really, in the long run. Yeah, he's fighting here in the States. He's gonna be on ESPN Plus. It's first fight in Las Vegas. Why not make a statement? Get a guy who can go in there and knock out. Fury's testing out the brain injury he received. True school. Okay. I mean, Wilder did hit it. Wilder punched the shit out of him like he stole something in the 12th round. Bob Arum last year said Wilder needs to swallow his pride and accept that AJ is ASAP. As soon as he signed Fury, he started saying AJ is a duck. You're right. I'm glad you pointed that out. I'm so glad you pointed it out. I'm going to file that one away and put that down in my next video. Yeah, he said he needs swallows, but now he's saying, oh, it's a great move by Al Haymon. It's wise. Al Haymon is a great businessman. Wilder should have taken the big payday and a chance for the undisputed win or lose. I agree. And you know what the sad part is? He can't hide behind the fact that he has a mandatory, because the deal would have included the mandatory, and then he also can't hide behind the fact that he still would have got the deal. He still would have got the AJ fights without the belts. I mean, literally, it was reported yesterday. I don't know if you guys heard this, but it was reported yesterday that he still would have got the Joshua fights. Two of them, the two big Joshua paydays are 40 million plus, even if he lost to Brazil and didn't have a belt no more. So it makes it look even that much bad, even that much worse. Straight up. Either way, Bob is looking for Fury to have big fights with AJ in the UK and a big rematch for Wilder in the US. That's what his big pay-per-view fights are for his heavyweight. Yeah, and ultimately, he's going to look out for the best interests of his heavyweight, as he should. And he's one of the best promoters in the game. So, there you go. Why was AJ not signed, True? To where? DAZN? Or to DAZN or Top Rank? Driving now, so gonna bounce. Good live chat. We'll keep an eye out for your next live chats. Absolutely, Adam. Great to have you on the live, man. Look forward to seeing you on the other ones, and just thank you for watching and taking the time, man. Be safe on the road. I know it's crazy out there. Well, because if you look at how DAZN signed, DAZN really doesn't really, because DAZN actually can't really sign most of their fighters. DAZN goes with fighters on a fight-by-fight basis. Only a handful of fighters actually signed to DAZN. Joshua has the leeway to fight on any platform he wants. But, Eddie Hearn is working with DAZN. They had that relationship with DAZN. And, they gave Wilder a career high payday. He has all the belts. He's in that position to negotiate from a place of strength. And I think Wilder's in the wrong, man. Wilder's in the wrong. No matter how you slice it, Wilder's in the wrong here. Any other questions, guys? I'm gonna be on for another couple minutes. Canelo signed. Clarissa could have got multiple fights. AJ didn't. That's fishy, bro. Honestly, AJ fights, from my understanding, from every interview I've watched, and believe you me, I watch a lot of interviews about these guys and whatnot. they just go. He goes for the highest bidder. So if Showtime comes in and they throw the most money at him, he'll go to Showtime. You know, they've shown Joshua fights on Showtime before. They've shown Joshua replays on HBO, so it's not uncommon. You know, if I'm not mistaken, Klitschko versus Joshua here in the States was shown on HBO, and Joshua had a couple replays on Showtime, so he has that flexibility. He's not tied down. But DAZN is who his promoter, Eddie Hearn. DAZN is who his promoter, Eddie Hearn, works with, and he has that leeway. True School Sports, do you think that Mikey Garcia will fight Lomachenko at 135, or is he going to just vacate his 135-pound belt? I definitely think 100% he's going to vacate that belt. Straight up. He's going to vacate that belt and probably go fight 140, try to get a title over there. I think Teofimo Lopez will actually wind up fighting for that belt, and then once he wins that belt, I think he's going to really start clamoring for that Lomachenko fight. And I will too. $80 million. He could have left BT Sports, the highest bidder. DAZN have got a first and last refusal on AJ fight, so basically DAZN are in control of his fights. Yeah, they're in control of his fights, but he does have the freedom. It's a tricky thing to explain. He can sign and he can fight on other platforms, but they have first and last refusal. So. Thank you for bringing that up. I forgot about that. Absolutely. See, there we go, Ronald. We agree. I think he should fight Teofimo. I think Teofimo has more than a really good chance. I think he has a really good chance of beating Lomachenko. No doubt about it. And I mean, hello. Hello? The fuck? Hello? I don't know why I'm frozen. Okay. Well, I don't know what the hell happened. Y'all can hear me? Says you can hear me, okay. Whatever. You can't hear me, but you can see me. I don't know. I'm streaming on my iPhone, and this is so weird on the iPhone. Let's see. Maybe if I play with the camera. Bro, the YouTube, like, boom, we're back. YouTube on the phone is so weird. I don't know what it is, because I was on Wi-Fi and then I took it off, and that's why that happened. But what I was saying is they're on a fight-by-fight basis, and if we look at Anthony Joshua as a brand, right? Let's look at him as a brand. You know, the guy is the most followed active boxer on Instagram, you know, and I know that doesn't really mean anything in terms of him as a fighter, but it does mean something for him in terms of a business, because, you know, his reach is very big. You know, his platform is very, very large. So you have that. He's sold out soccer stadiums on a routine basis in the UK. He just broke the pre-sale record for tickets at Madison Square Garden, and I'm 1,000% sure when he fights Jarrell Miller at Madison Square Garden, it'll be one of the biggest heavyweight boxing events this country has seen in quite some time. So it makes sense. It actually does make sense from a business standpoint for them to go on a fight-by-fight basis, because you never know. It makes sense to be that way, because you just don't know, like, what opportunities are out there. So you can always have those options to explore. That is yet to be determined. AJ selling out any place in America. Well, Ronald, I'll make a way. Listen, I'm pretty he's gonna sell it out. There's no way how he's not selling out the UK. Did you see how many Brits? I want you to just look at it like this. Oh, you know what? Good point, man. Good point, G-Boogie. You know what? I'm gonna go fix that because I have a bunch of tabs open in my Safari app. Hold on. Let me go. I'm gonna go correct that real quickly. You guys just give me 1 second. Hello? Oh my god. And it froze. You know what? I'm just gonna end it, guys. I've covered everything I wanted to cover. I'll try to be live later on. I gotta make some videos. So look, it was great talking to you guys. This phone is tripping on me. Just have a great day. Just go to True School Sports. Live fight reaction tomorrow and Sunday. And yeah, as always, like I say in every single video, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just kidding.